Oh, it was. I'm in the. I'll give you my view from the club level, Steve. I'm in. They start playing the song, and like you said, the Dodgers had stolen it, which really pissed off everybody because it's San Francisco.
Yeah. It's a violation.
Right? You know what I mean? So.
Right.
But what happened, Steve? What I heard was the fans on their own started to sing the lyrics, and that was really touching me. And I thought that was so cool because nobody told them to.
No, it became an infectious moment. It was like, listen, I got to tell you, I had not been in front of 45,000 people in a long time, and it was really exciting to sort of like to prompt them to sing along with me, and they did. I guess I was put on the screen. I didn't look at it because I was reaching out to these people all around me. The next thing I know. The whole stadium is singing the verse, the bridge, and the chorus. It was really fun.
I have to tell you, the only thing that sucked was the Giants didn't win the game. But as far as energy that can carry over into the playoffs, it was such a bonding moment. I was so stoked. In fact, that's what Paulie and I said. We should try to get Steve on the show. So we appreciate you coming on. We know you don't do a lot of interviews and don't want to talk a lot about the music because you want to talk about the baseball. But that was such an energetic moment.
No, I love talking about music and baseball. For some reason, like I said, they're starting to come together for me. I mean, I've sort of gotten my love for music again from baseball.
Yeah, well, we're talking about this this connection between musicians and baseball. It's really a thing.
Yeah, and on that note, actually, so it's funny how the San Francisco music community, as you know, Steve, I mean, everybody seems to pretty much know everybody, and it goes generations deep now. So last night, they had the national anthem performed by Carlos Santana's son, who I'm sure you've met and known over the years. And actually, Murph, Steve was a couple of his bandmates in Journey were old Santana boys, Greg Raleigh and Neil Schon.
Neil Schon,
Yeah. So you obviously know all these guys. So the question is, if they came and tapped you on the shoulder now or next series or World Series, and they said, hey, man, would you consider doing a rendition of the national anthem? Maybe we can marry the two right there.
That's the toughest thing for me is I've been asked many times by Joe, and I have such reverence for that song that it's tough for me. I mean, it's a tough song to sing, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't know, it has a lot of emotional attachment to me. I don't know if I could actually pull that one off emotionally, but I've stayed away from it for a lot of those reasons.
Wow. Yeah, Steve, what if I told you that my partner, Paul McCaffrey, twice has sung the national anthem before Giants games?
You believe
How
that,
about
man?
that?
You believe that? Yeah. And he said, so take it like that, Steve. Trust me, if I could do it, and I just feel like I got away with it, okay? My version wasn't anything to write home about, but I went out there. It was almost like a dare. They asked me to do it. I'm like, are you sure you guys know what you're getting yourselves into? I'll go out and do it. But I did it. No, trust me, man, if I can get away with it, I'm sure you can if you feel ready at any time.
Yeah. Especially not this morning the way I sound now.
Steve, so back out there tonight. Do you have the energy for Game 2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. And now
I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. Would you be the kind of guy to travel with the team, or would you just strictly stay and watch the games in San Francisco?
Well, I do. I travel. I come up from Del Mar, where I live. I fly up here yesterday I travel.
Okay. And so, would you go to Atlanta, or are you going to hang out and
I don't think I'm going to make it to Atlanta.
Okay, all right.
No, I would love to, but I don't think I'm going to.
Just a couple just fun trivia questions before we let you go. We know we've taken a lot of your morning, and fans, like we said, all over the world, were pumped to hear from you. But do you have, a favorite player through the years that has moved you? Is it maybe Lincecum now? Or?
When it first started, it was the team with Barry, and it was a team with Richard Rillia and Woody. Woody and I became friends right away. It was it was a really great thing. He reminded me of an old friend of mine I knew years ago in high school. He's such a wonderful guy and so down to earth. And so Woody and Richard Rillia and I became friends from that particular team. And I met Barry a couple of times. So I would say a couple of my favorite players would be Woody and Rich.
Yeah, that's very. Have you been to the Shed, Steve? That's my question.
I have been invited to the Shed many times.
Yeah, man.
I have, but I have not yet done it. But I will do it someday. And it's pretty much a ritual every year.
You got to go. Oh, just a couple more for you. One is is there any way we can get some sort of legal action to make the Dodgers cease and desist?
Yeah, maybe with your help. Yeah, seriously.
The problem with that song is that it is about hope and it is about not giving up. And so, Sopranos used it, and the White Sox used it in '05. So the song has just kind of been picked up by people who want to keep believing and not give up. So, listen, I will tell you this, that nobody makes a dime when they play that song. And just so you know, people think, oh, gee, we're making lots of money because they're playing your song in the stadium. It never happens.
Right.
And I did an interview one time. Somebody thought, well, gee, the Dodgers are making money on it. Can't you tell them you don't do that?" I said, "Well, listen, the kind of money they're paying for this thing, you can't buy a latte at Starbucks." I'm telling you right now.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess you said if you're gonna, you'll just let it go. Take the high road is what Steve's doing.
Yeah.
Did you have a reaction all these years later on The Sopranos? Such an incredible pop cultural milestone, touchstone like The Sopranos, using your sound, your song to close out their historic series.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I knew about the close of the show, and I knew how it was going to end. But I had no idea that Tony Soprano would sort of like pick between, I think there's a Heart song he plays on the jukebox, there's a Tony Bennett song, and then there's a Journey song. And then they cut back to Tony, and he pulls out some money to pop in the jukebox. And the next thing you know, you find out that his choice, which you think would be Tony Bennett, turns out to be Journey, and that made it a very cool thing that Tony Soprano digs Journey, and that song just sort of launched like crazy after that.
Yeah, and we got to say too, Tony Soprano definitely made the right choice, Steve, because if they hey man, if they ended the Sopranos on Heart doing Barracuda, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have felt the same.
It just wouldn't have worked, huh?
Very, very good. Well, Steve, we're listen. Paulie and I are both we're local kids, so we like the sounds of San Francisco, and we like San Francisco to be repped, and which is why we wanted to have you on, and why we wanted to honor that Saturday thing you did, and the fact that you're out there getting it done. In fact, Paulie and I have actually agitated for a long time. The Giants haven't listened, but we said we should answer the Dodgers' 8th inning song by playing Lights. We think Lights. Baseball doesn't need to be a super hyped adrenaline game, and I know Lights isn't a fast-paced tune, but I think it's San Francisco to the core.
It
so
is, yeah.
Would you back us on that, Steve?
Whatever they want to do, I'm okay with. As long as the fans get excited and it pumps up and we win some games, I don't care.
Okay.
Right
I
on,
like that
Steve.
attitude, too. And then finally, for all the fans out there, and we know we don't talk about this, are you going to any recordings or tours or anything coming up?
Yeah, I started writing, and I've got a bunch of songs sitting there I hadn't written in years, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Baseball got me back into music, and it's a long story, but it got me back in, and I started writing about a year and a half ago, and so I've got quite a few songs sitting around, and my plan is to get in the studio and start recording some of them, and God knows where that'll go, because it's a lot to live up to what Journey accomplished when I was in the group with them. We were good together, and so I wouldn't want to try to go against that. I just want to write some more music and put it out there.
Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure having you
Yeah,
on.
thanks for coming on, Steve.
We love having rock legends cheering for the Giants. That's what we like.
No.
We like that, man.
It's about baseball.
It is about baseball.
Man.
And I like what you said. The lead singer hit every note last night on the mound.
Oh, he was on fire.
Yeah. And guess what? The lead singer can hit every note again tonight, right? Matt Cain?
Yes. Oh, Cain. I'm waiting for Cain. I'm so excited. He's got to be pumped after that.
He's got to be.
He's got to be pumped.
Continuing the analogy, like if you're playing a festival and the guy in front of you, the band in front of you performs great, you're like, I want to go out and perform great too, right?
Like Steve.
Let me ask you a question. Don't you think that maybe when an important game like the last one that Cain was pitching against the Padres, can't we just not do the pomp and circumstance and all that stuff and get? It's like when I was on tour back in the day, I wouldn't meet and greet anybody before a show. I wouldn't accept any platinum albums or meet any interviewers because it untied my game.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be focused. I need a little bit of FU going into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? And so the last thing you need is to walk out there and put all smiles and thank for the player of the year. It's like I wish they wouldn't do the pomp and circumstance before an important game.
Okay, so Caner, put the towel over your head
That's
and just
right.
come out and perform. That's it
Yeah,
right there.
just go out and
Game face.
Little FU going.
Steve, that's perfect. Hey, see you tonight, Steve. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Okay.
Steve Perry.
Go Giants.
There it is. One of the top 100 singers of all time.
That was cool. He rules, man.
Stone.
Yeah, great
I hope
Giant
everybody
fan,
felt
great
the San
singer.
Francisco